Hi there, this is Grumpy Opinions. Let's get on with the show. Pluribus is the Apple TV show that's 8 episodes in and is all about Carol, one of the only survivors of an alien hive mind takeover, currently trying to figure out what to do now that the world is basically empty, but she can do anything she wants. Episode 8, Charm Offensive, continues with Paraguy waking up in hospital. They've healed him, but he's like, hell no, so he just escapes and insists on getting a bill for the services, and an ambulance. And turns out he's now in Panama, so he can literally just drive all the way up. Meanwhile, Carol is awkwardly trying to readjust to having friends and drinking lemonade with Zosha, playing card games and all that kind of jazz. And then they go to where the them sleep, and it turns out it's like a giant pillow party. And Carol decides to have a nap there. Next day she comes home and makes notes about the thems on her board, but her pen dies, so she asks for a new one, and that makes them assume that she's writing her next novel. And they're really keen, so Zosha decides to take her to the place where she used to write, and Carol's shocked because that place burned down years ago, and the thems have rebuilt it exactly and restaffed it with the original folks that Carol remembers. But that kind of pisses Carol off and she storms away home, and she tells Zosha that it's all nonsense and bullshit and that it's all unsustainable and the whole takeover thing is just crazy, so Zosha kisses her to shut her up and Carol's like, oh hell yes. And after that she's straight back into writing a new pirate novel and trying not to feel guilty about shagging Zosha. But also she's just kind of getting on with things, trying to get Zosha to use singular pronouns and eat normal human food rather than the milk, and be more of an individual. And just when Zosha's opening up about her youth and talking about her favourite ice cream, she gets a bit of a concerned look because
you're going to have a visitor.
And that someone is Paraguy, and he's almost there. End of episode. So did I think. Well, I mean, there were interesting things this week, all the usual, good cinematography, good acting, etc, etc. And I actually thought the pacing was a little bit better, like, especially at the start of the episode. It felt like they were editing out some fluff, at least up until here, where they just went the opposite and kind of cut away. But we actually saw Carol have some thoughts and making decisions this week, and she's learning stuff about the thems, and also deciding to live a bit again. I mean, she's writing, she's having sex, she's engaging with life a little bit. And we did get a little bit of new info, like them sleeping in a big gym hall, which I'm pretty sure was intentionally made to look like, those setups when there's been a natural disaster. And it's interesting to see her navigating these events more calmly now that her grief and her fury and her obsession about saving the world has kind of moved to the back of her mind a little. And she's a bit more open to speaking to the thems, but apparently not to her cousin. Although it's good to hear that she has family, although again we've not really got into that very much. It's also interesting to see the hive mind tailoring its behaviour to better suit Carol. I mean, we know that Zosha was picked because she looks like Carol's wet dream of a fantasy pirate lady. But she's also getting sassy and using lines that Helen said in the past.
Oh, you poor, tortured artist.
And, I mean, that's 100% calculated, and the goal is presumably to make Carol happy and to eventually wear her down until she wants to join the hive. And it also makes sense because Zosha and the rest of the hive is a gestalt of Helen and all of Carol's fans. They'd be quite keen to hear her about her new books. So they'd want her to write new books and they want her to be happy. So why not just kill two birds with one stone? And yeah, consistent stuff from Paraguy. I like the wee adding of one ambulance to his receipt. Otherwise, what else happened this week? Not much. No, that's kind of it. This week though, even though I thought the pacing was better and they finally kind of embraced the concept of editing, I kind of felt that a few moments the show went too far the other way. Like, wouldn't you rather have actually seen the moment when Carol decided to stay at the slumber party? Or maybe heard the end of the story about why they think spit is called spit rather than just cutting away? And that kind of annoyed me because this show's usual style is to bore you senseless with information that is not important, but here they just cut away. Also, Carol has now spent nearly 20 days with Zosha since the last episode, and she hasn't really learned a lot. I mean, I get that the show explicitly shows us Carol learning things, but look here, sex? Like, she hasn't asked about that. She hasn't asked about if the hive want to have more babies. I mean, people are having babies, but they will be for like the next 9 months at least. But what are the plans for the future? Hasn't asked. Nope, the only thing that there's a vague mention that they want to spread the alien hive mind message further, naturally. And Carol doesn't really press on that because then the audience might have some information. And that's the same problem we've had all along. I've mentioned it plenty of times, and frankly, I don't see how anything short of a massively crazy, utterly story-breaking twist or revelation is going to make up for how pitifully tedious this show has been for most of the runtime. And I don't think that even something big at the end is going to make up for it. Now, sure, I guess if you're watching this because you're a huge Vince Gilligan fan, or you're a massive stan for Rhea Seehorn, or if you just literally have been desperately hoping to see this pair smooch because you like seeing queer stuff portrayed on TV, cool, that's reasons to watch a TV show. But they're all side stuff. It's like going to a restaurant and liking the painting on the walls, but not actually the food or the service mattering. I mean, for a start, can we talk about how problematic a lot of this is anyway? I mean, Zozia literally kisses Carol to stop her thinking bad things about the thems and getting angry, and Zozia is the hive mind. They don't have individual wants or needs, so this is all calculated, this is all play acting. There's no real romance or love here beyond whatever residual love Helen had for her, and maybe the fan base of her books, who love her for weird reasons, but also because the Hive loves everybody equally. And I kind of hoped after last week that maybe this was all some kind of clever move on Carol's part, that she'd been plotting, that maybe she all month had actually been working up to with a big plan of how she was going to figure stuff out. Nope, none of that. I mean, that would have also been a little bit naff in a different way, because we would have then had a bunch of stuff and then a bunch of flashbacks about, aha, the whole time I was doing this. But no, but this is just more nothing. It's more nothing. And yet again, nothing much is happening. There's very little plot advancement, very little in terms of story turns or revelations or major events. I mean, this doesn't even really feel like a TV show. I mean, you know what it's like? This is like going out and buying a huge, really interesting, very pretty looking book, taking it home because you think, oh, that sounds, I like the blurb on the back and it sounds interesting. But then when you start reading it, you realise every page has only one sentence written on it, and then on the opposite side, it just has a picture. And sure, that might be nice for what it is, but if you bought a big book thinking there's going to be lots and lots and lots of story in it, you're going to be a bit disappointed. And that's kind of how I feel. So where does that leave us? Well, leaves us in the same damn place that it does every week. Pluribus is a show where almost nothing is happening, and what is happening really, really slowly. The plot isn't really going forward, because the plot is a meandering wander for Carol through the situation, and she's about the worst possible protagonist in this way, because she's kind of incapable when it comes to figuring out actual important stuff or knowing what to do about it. And honestly, I have no idea where this show is supposed to go from here, because they haven't really given us enough information to make a coherent guess. I suppose we're probably going to find out they're transmitting the signal from somewhere, because Manos has heard a signal, and they said they want to spread the message. So are they building a big dish or something? And if they are Carol and Manusis going to try and break it or stop it? Is that going to be the upshot and the setup for Season 2? If so, meh, it's not that exciting. Otherwise, are Carol and Manusis going to instantly hate each other? If so, nothing much changes, because he'll probably just go away and she'll continue caroling. Or she's going to go all in on being friends with the Hive. But then that doesn't make sense, because what can one human being do against the entire world, even if the world doesn't want to hurt him? This is the fundamental problem with this story. Whatever happens, the thems aren't really going to stop them. Unless they're going to suddenly turn a thing of actually they can lie and kill, which is unlikely because they would have done so before now. So I have to ask myself, why am I watching this show? Mainly the reason is because there's one episode left and I expect to review that, and then I don't have to watch any more of it unless I really feel like it. Also, I wouldn't expect the review for the finale to be up anytime soon, because apparently they're putting it out on Christmas Eve, and I plan to be having lots of festive fun all the way through till Boxing Day, so it's unlikely I'm going to even see the finale till Boxing Day or the day after, and you won't get a review up for a day or two after that at least. So I'm going to just wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and a Happy Hanukkah, festivities in general, and also a Happy New Year when it comes. All the best for 2026. I really hope 2025 was good for you all, and if not, that things get a lot better. So till next time, these have been my grumpy opinions.